Ladies and gentlemen, Barry C here with another cryptocurrency video, and the market's turning around. XRP is going back up, slowly but surely, but it is going back up, and we still have a small window of opportunity for an alt season. Now, it's fascinating to me because you're seeing a lot of people pushing these negative narratives, and the same negative narratives we saw the last 3.5 years. It's the same negative narrative I've seen towards XRP since 2017 till now. And the initial FUD around XRP was, don't buy it, it's a banker's coin. This is back in 2017 when the majority of people who discovered crypto were like, wow, it's an alternative to the existing financial system. It's an alternative to banking. And so then when a crypto comes along, it's the first finance-based crypto ever. And it's the only crypto that says, you know what? We want to work within the existing financial framework. We want to work with banks and financial institutions. So we're going to follow legislation and regulation and tick all those boxes. And so people freak out and they go, well, yeah, why would I buy that? I don't want to buy a banker's coin. And it's funny, the FUD back then is the exact reason why we're so bullish on XRP right now. And the FUD has continued to be there. We saw XRP less than 1 cent a coin, and people just sort of sidelined themselves, or they just didn't really look at it seriously until it started skyrocketing and it hit over $3 a coin. And it flipped Ethereum and Bitcoin. And then people started noticing, they're like, wow, like that was an amazing parabolic run. And then people start doing the calculations in their head and they go, well, I could have made all this money and I didn't. Okay, I want some XRP. And then people come to it at the height of its pump and they start accumulating and they go, well, okay, now I'm in XRP. I'm ready for that 100x or 1000x. And then what they're not prepared for is a 3.5 year bear market. And that's when the FUD takes another turn. And that's when people start talking about XRP is dead, it's not going anywhere, it's never going to rally that hard again. And then sure enough, we get to 2020 and 2021. And now the FUD is also, well, Ripple's being sued by the SEC. There's all this legal uncertainty around XRP. Once again, for a slightly different reason, but the same narrative that XRP is done for. We see top tier exchanges delisting it. But it still goes from 19 cents to $1.65, $1.80. And so then people go, wow, that's quite a parabolic run. So I'm going to start buying some XRP. I want some. So they start buying at $1.65 and $1.80. And they say to themselves, well, okay, now I'm ready for my 100x or 1000x. And then it crashes again and the FUD and the negativity come back and people start doing the same thing. Well, XRP rallied, but it didn't go as high as it did in 2018. Completely ignoring the SEC and Ripple lawsuit, ignoring the fact that, top tier exchanges delisting XRP might result in it not having a proper bull run or alt season. Doesn't matter that it went from 19 cents to over $1.65, $1.80. That doesn't matter. It didn't go to the $100 or $1,000 people were hoping for. And then sure enough, for the next 3.5 years of a bear market, all we hear is XRP is dead. XRP is not going anywhere. XRP is not going to have a bull run. Sure enough, we get to November 2024 and the market starts turning around rapidly. XRP goes from 50 cents to over $2.60, $2.70. And the main sentiment isn't, wow, I'm so glad I spent those 3.5 years building and growing. The sentiment is, I wish I bought more XRP. I wish I'd done things differently. And you know what? We haven't even finished the bull run cycle. We haven't even seen an alt season yet. And people are already talking about XRP's dead. XRP's not going anywhere. It'll never be back above $3 ever again. It's the same negativity. And the mistake people make is they go, okay, well, I'll wait for XRP to start pumping. And then I'll catch that pump on the way up. And they haven't learnt this fact that when XRP starts rallying, and this can be the same with most crypto, but XRP in particular, when it starts moving, it moves really quickly. And so you're not going to catch 50 cents to 60 cents. More than likely, you'll see 50 cents to $1. And then suddenly at $1, you go, do I buy some more or do I wait? And then while you're figuring out what to do, now it's $2. We saw it in November. By the time people were catching on to XRP's rapid ascent and the skyrocketing it was doing, it went from 50 cents to $1 to $2 to 250, 260, 270. And people were just sitting there on the sidelines going, either I wish I'd done more or I wish I'd actually bought some. And the exact same thing's going to happen. And it's interesting to me because the market is turning around slowly. And, instead of people going, maybe I have a small window of opportunity left to buy some cheap XRP, instead what I'm seeing is people say, ugh, look at what it's doing. It's only recovering this slowly. And it's this weird kind of like pathetic narrative that they weave and put out there, which is, oh, yeah, look at XRP. It's not even going from $2 to $3. It's going to happen sooner rather than later. It's going to happen a lot sooner than people think. And once again, are you in a situation where, let's say it does rally, are you in a situation to actually take some profit? Are you in the best position possible? And ladies and gents, one of the most fascinating and revealing moments, I think, in all of crypto was November of 2024. Because for 3.5 years, so many people talked a really big game. They talked about having these massive XRP bags, that the second it started pumping, they've got all these amazing take profit strategies. And then November happens, we get a parabolic pump. And the amount of people who just didn't take profit because they were like, well, I've got to wait for $10 or $50 or $100. And it's like, wait a minute, you haven't taken the time to put together a plan, a conservative and a crazy one. And this is something that you've heard me all talk about for years. If you've followed me for years, you've heard me talk about it. If you're new to my channel, this is something you'll hear me say over and over again because it's such a big mistake. And November 2024 really highlighted how a lot of people kind of fumbled that opportunity because it was an amazing opportunity. And something I've spoken about, and I've actually discussed this at length with my Patreons, my Barry C VIPs, but I've also mentioned it on my channel as well. The idea of building a take profit bag so you don't compromise your short-term, mid-term, long-term bags and your short-term, mid-term, long-term goals. You have a bag that's purely designed to take profit, so when the market does rally and you get to a take profit point that actually makes sense, you're in the best position possible to actually take that profit. You're not second guessing yourself. And that was one of the most interesting things I found out with November 2024. That people weren't in the position that they thought they were in, or they were, but they still panicked because they didn't have a plan. And this brings me back to this idea of the negativity surrounding even the market slowly growing. And it's a really important crypto mindset and even an XRP mindset thing to have and consider. Because people put so much energy into these negative aspects. And they put so much energy into, well, the market's not going the way I want it to. And that's why when I've been making my content over the last couple of months, when the market's been dipping, the main questions I put to people, and I put to you as the audience, because I've asked myself these questions, and it's kind of how I keep myself on track, and that is, am I in the best position possible to take profit? Have I got a plan laid out? What are my take profit points? Short-term, mid-term, long-term? Are they conservative? Are they crazy? Do I have both in consideration? And most importantly, if my answer is, well, no, I'm not in the best position possible to actually maximize on taking profits, then I have to ignore the negativity, look at where the market's going and go, okay, do I need to build? Do I need to grow? Do I have to accept the fact that, look, maybe I can't accumulate anymore because I've bought the dips and now I just have to hold and figure things out from there? I mean, these are all the things you should be asking yourself. And not financial advice, ladies and gents. This is stuff I've learned the hard way from being in crypto since 2016. I've been through 2 bull runs before. I've seen people make catastrophic mistakes, and I've been in that ballpark as well. I've made really big mistakes because sometimes you're just not educated enough because, you're very, very new to crypto, or other times you think you've got the market figured out and then it performs in a way that you weren't anticipating, or just some instances you just don't have a plan. And so I've kind of learned from making these mistakes and going, okay, well, instead of succumbing to the negativity, instead of being frustrated with the FUD, what happens when the market turns around? what happens when an alt season occurs? And now I'm looking at prices that far exceed all expectations. And now I'm looking at my bags and going, well, even though I've seen 100x, well, now I can't take profits because it's not high enough. It's not worth my while or not worth paying the taxes on it. Or maybe I just think, look, there's bigger prices we could see long term, but short term, it's going to be difficult and I'm going to suffer because I can't take the profits I'd like to take. And I learned that, especially even the last bull run, where the market went to the next level. There were bags I held that weren't at the level I hoped they would because they didn't hit the prices I anticipated. And so I'm sitting there going, well, I can't take the profits I want. That's a very real scenario. Of course, there were other cryptos I did exceptionally well with. So, they all kind of balance out. But that's why I'm making this content right now. Because even though the market may be turning around, maybe if you're listening, you feel frustrated, maybe you don't know what to do, maybe you don't even know where to start with a plan. And this is why it's so important to actually sit down and go, okay, what are the top... Look, here's a really good starting point, not financial advice, but, I look at something like XRP. It's one of my top holdings. It's actually my biggest holding, but it's not my only holding. But I look at that and I go, okay, how big's my XRP bag? What are the take profit points? Like, where can I start? Like, if it hits $2, do I have enough XRP to actually make some decent profit? If the answer is yes, great. I split my bags accordingly and go, okay, well, short term, so this alt season I could take profits at $2, $5, $10. Let's say midterm, a year or two. Let's say we see a utility run, we start seeing $50, $100. Great. I can take profits at both those instances. Let's say long term, let's say I roll over some XRP into the next bull run, so 4 years, 5 years from now. Okay, what if it gets to $100 or $1,000? Great, look at those options, and then is there a bag I can hold for 10 years, maybe more? These are the things I start thinking about. And then I go, okay, well, if it hits these price points, do I sell 50% of my bag? Do I sell 60%? Do I sell 70%? Do I sell 30%? How much do I roll over into the next time frame? Like, these are all the things that I'm thinking about and working towards when the market isn't performing well. Because when the market's not performing well, you don't have a lot of money on the line while you're trying to figure things out. There's nothing more frustrating. Let's say XRP went to $1,000 tomorrow or $100 tomorrow. Not that I'm saying it will, but hypothetically. And let's say now you have hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars on the table, but you don't have a plan in place. Do you want to be rapidly trying to figure out how much of your bag you'll sell, how much you'll carry over? Do you even take those profits into dollars? Are you even KYC'd on exchanges or where you take your profits? Have you sorted that out so you can actually take profits at that level? Like, you don't want to be figuring those things out when there's all this money on the line. You want to do it now when you're not in that euphoric, panicked state. And ladies and gents, once again, not financial advice. It's just something I've learned being in the market, being through 2 bull runs, taking profits every alt season and learning from my mistakes. Especially when it comes to XRP, because that's a crypto that has the potential for an alt season and a utility run. So we're going to see a greater variety of take profit points than you typically would see in other cryptos, because not only are we going to see alt season volatility, we could also see mass adoption volatility. And once we start rallying higher with XRP, we're not going to have many cheap days left, because the new cheap price for XRP could be $5, $10, $50, maybe $100, depending on how high things rally. And that's why it's so important. Yes, enjoy the excitement of the market turning around slowly but surely, but also be aware that when things start rallying, there's no coming back. So for me personally, I like to enjoy days like today and the last month and a half. Despite the frustrations and despite the annoyance, I've used that time to reflect on what I hold, what my goals are, and I've looked at my take profit potential and gone, okay, do I need to build my bags or grow them? Am I in the best position possible? If I am, great, I'll continue to hold. If not, I have to figure out, what do I have to accumulate? What are my take profit points? What is the most realistic approach in the small window of opportunity I have? And ladies and gents, once again, very important mindset thing to cultivate. So instead of succumbing to the negativity and succumbing to the FUD, you spend the downtime where the market's not performing well, setting yourself to be up in the best position possible. So when things do turn around rapidly, you can take your profits, you've got a plan, you're not going to panic, and you're going to find a lot more success doing that than waiting to the last minute, hoping to jump in before the pump starts happening, and then when the pump does happen, then making decisions on the fly. And like I said, ladies and gents, none of this is financial advice. Now, if you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. And if you're curious about the other cryptos I hold outside of XRP, consider becoming a Patreon. Click the link in the description below, head across to my Patreon page, and consider becoming a Barry C VIP. There you'll have access to all my cryptos, as well as my buy, sell, and take profit signals in real time.